Okay. Are we ready? Is everybody? Who am I missing? Where's Lorna? Oh, there she is. Ronnie, is Ronnie coming on? There she is. Okay, I'd like to call the Parks, Recreation and Culture Committee meeting of Tuesday, October 19th, 2021 at 5:40. Are you hearing me? It's being held electronically, and we have 3 in-person councillors and mayor. This meeting is being held on the Sabatsat territory where we all live and work together in harmony. Introduction of any late items? I see none. So approval of the agenda? Councillor Sandhu and Mayor Day, all those in favor? And carried. No ongoing items. We're down to correspondence. Kathy Fielding, President, Cowichan Lake Arts and Culture Society, re-celebrating the Arts and Nature Festival. It was a really nice letter thanking our superintendent and our mayor for help during their recent event. Are there any other comments regarding that letter? Mayor Day?
Not really regarding the letter, but except for the event was well attended, and I think it was probably one of the first official public events during COVID, after everybody or 80% got vaccinated. So it was really enjoyable to be out with people in public again. So, and they put on one heck of a nice event.
Good, thank you. And yes, I was sorry to have missed it. And so we'll receive and file that letter. We're down to number 6, report, Superintendent, Public Works and Engineering Services report for September. Mr. Sandhu.
Okay, so parks, we, again, unfortunately, we're still waiting on the Stone Park hockey box to be completed. Hopefully they can free up some time and get at it soon. We're going through the town, and the crew's winterizing some of the washrooms that we don't open anymore, the fountains, etc. So all the parks are getting winterized. We're doing continuous work, maintenance around town, just getting everything winterized. Again, as I mentioned last time, I'm calling it renovating some of the different planting areas. We're going to make a few changes for next year. The different areas, we're going to do some different planting, so just a different look. And the town, the parks crew have started on Christmas lights this week. Probably tomorrow we should have majority of them up.
That's early.
Yeah.
We talked about banners last time. Were you thinking still of doing any seasonal banners for the fall and winter season, or is it too late to order them?
No, yeah, it's definitely too late to order them, but the existing ones, we're probably going to remove them and put them away, and then so they don't deteriorate over the winter, because they are quite expensive. So we can put them away and put them up. Hopefully we'll get another year or 2 out of them that way.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Sandhu? Councillor Sandhu?
Just regarding the Stone Park hockey box, is there kind of a time frame? Because I know every month it's kind of waiting, and yeah. I'm kind of tired of hearing that, and I'd like to get a concrete for our next meeting in November, a concrete date, or at least to your satisfaction. Yeah. But I just think every month it just gets passed on, and if that contractor can't do it, then we got to look at what's best for the town. I know it's winter now, so but I'd like to ask if we could get a tentative date brought back to our next public work or parks.
Right. Sounds good. Okay, thank you. Anything else on that? We'll go down to B, Cowichan Lake Education Center Manager, regarding the Cowichan Lake Education Center and Lakeview. We have the report there. I am disappointed that we do not have an info center report, so I'm hoping we will have one soon. I believe Mr. Smith is away at present. I thought he was getting one set up for us in hard copy at some point. Mr. Fernandez? You're muted, unmuted.
I do have hard copies for all of council.
Okay,
We'll throw it in the dockets as soon as I can.
okay. And then
It won't be
maybe,
it won't be next month, it'll be today.
oh, today, okay. And then we can discuss, whatever needs to be discussed after that,
Yeah.
after we've read them, okay.
Yeah, unlike Mr. Sandu, I can give you a firm date.
A firm date, okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Were there any questions on the report from Mr. Smith on the CLEC or Lakeview? I think it's fairly concise. Everybody, no, everybody's smiling, so they're happy. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. We go down to new business dog park location, and I don't know if anybody wanted to bring any of this up, but we have talked about Satlam Park. I know it's small, but I think somebody's got their mic on. Anyway, Satlam Park, the grassy area at Satlam Park is not being used for anything. It just would need some fencing. And wouldn't cost a lot of money, but did anybody have any other ideas? Ms. Councillor McGonigal?
Thank you. I saw this in the agenda and I went back to our strategic priorities and our strategic plan and I couldn't find dog park improvements on any of those documents. What I did find in previous discussions was inclusion of a dog park in the second or third phase of the Centennial upgrades. Unfortunately, those grant applications have fallen through. I like the idea of looking at other locations, but prioritizing within the budget process on what the strategic priorities are. We spent quite a bit of time on the strategic plan and unfortunately don't have a hard copy in front of me, but I would like to adhere to what our strategic priorities were and fit in what we can moving forward with the funds that we do have. I like the idea of perhaps Satlam, but again, it's such a wet area there. Would that suffice? I think there's more to be done in location. And perhaps this would be a subject for the APC, similar to the location of the columbarium, wayfinding, that they could have some input on what an appropriate spot would be. I think they do unpolitical work for us, where the decision is based on investigation and professional input from our planner. We can put it anywhere we want. But is it the right spot? I think we have to look at parking, we have to look at waste management, at proper design, and whether or not it's in the appropriate location. So I would like to see that perhaps go to the APCs for some consideration and discussion.
Idea. Mayor Day?
Yes, thank you very much. And that's where I was hoping this conversation is when it's going to go, because I heard almost a year ago today that it might have gone to Stone Avenue Park. So I was just curious, if it was part of a conversation, how it was decided, where it was going to be. And I 100% agree with the planner and the APC that that's where that should come from for any future park improvements. So, because it is a valuable thing and it has to be placed properly.
Right. Thank you. Any other, Mr. Fernandez? Mute.
I've got 2 emails on that very topic, and maybe I'll bring it up on the question period.
Question period, okay. Councillor McGonigal?
And I think with the input of the planner and the APC, then we can move forward with the budget discussions, whether or not it could be implemented next year or what the timeline, similar to the capital project that we just received in our previous committee meeting, on what date or what year that might be accommodated. Because it wouldn't be a matter of just putting a fence up. There's lighting, there's safety issues, there's refuse, there's all sorts of things that have to be considered before that does get implemented. So I would look for that first before placing anywhere within the town limits. Can.
Oh, yep.
And to suggest that it be placed in the ball fields that are never used is ridiculous. We spent $1 million on those improvements, and unfortunately, COVID-19 hit, and there was no availability to utilize those for the services that they were designed and built for. There's needs for improvements within that field, and second and third phases might be the place to accommodate that. But the Centennial ball fields are not a free-for-all dog park as they are being used right at the moment.
Right. Thank you. Yes, that's true enough. Thank you. Any other, Councillor Vomaca?
Yeah, another discussion to have, and I think we brought it up probably about a year ago when we were talking about a dog park. So in 2019, the dog tags and fees was $3,655 that was brought into the town. 2020, that went down to $2,715. And we're into October of 2021, and we're at $2,645. So I think we also have to look for where the budgeting is coming. I don't believe from watching social media that there's less dogs in town, because there's always postings of dogs that have gone missing and fled and been found. And I think it was our finance that brought it up last year about the amount coming in, and then how much is it going to cost us to not only construct one, but to maintain it and to clean it. So I know everybody wants one, but it's kind of a user pay in my mind, that if people want it, they have to also be diligent in making sure that their dog licenses have been brought to help to fund that park. But that is my opinion.
Right. Thank you. Yes, I agree with that as well. Councillor McGonigal.
And piggybacking on that, the majority of dog license fees goes towards animal shelter services that we do contract out. So that would be the majority of the funds utilized for that animal services. So other than looking at increasing, oh my God, I said increasing dog license fees to accommodate that, it would have to be in a general capital budget to look at that. Dog license fees are not going to accommodate building a dog park. They go towards safety issues and complaints and SPCA services that are contracted. I think, if I'm incorrect, Ms. Gill, please correct me.
Yeah, you are correct, Tim. The fees are going towards paying for monthly retainer for animal control services, pound services, and it does seem that the licensing revenue, there's less and less compliance with people buying and purchasing dog tags. That being said, our fees have been stagnant. We haven't had an increase in the animal license fees in over 2 years. So that might be an avenue that we want to look at.
And don't get me wrong, I do have 2 dogs, and I buy my license every year prior to the increase, so I get my rebate on my 2 female spayed dogs, and I'm not sure what the price is, but I would be interested in a dog park as well. But if it's placed in the right location, it's not cumbersome on the taxpayers, and it fits within our strategic plan.
Right. Thank you. Anything else on that? Boy, we talked more about dogs than we did about water. There you go. Okay, notices of motion. I guess there aren't any. Did you put your hand up again? No? You're just scratching your ear. Okay. Public relation items? Now you have one.
Yeah, I wasn't scratching that time, along with all the other monthly mentions prior. It is also Down Syndrome Awareness Month in October.
Right.
You may
Yes.
understand that I do have a grandson with Down syndrome, and it's Crazy Sock Day coming up. So watch social media for a time to wear mismatched socks. You'll see pictures throughout Facebook and social media sites with mismatched socks, and I'll be sporting a pair of them, I'll tell you.
Oh my God. Something like not Pierre Trudeau, Justin Trudeau, his fancy socks. Okay, anything else for public relations? Okay, well, we'll go to question period, a maximum of 3 minutes per speaker. You may phone 749-6681 or email to general@lakecowichan.ca. We'll wait 3 minutes, and I believe Mr. Fernandez has a couple that he received earlier, so we will come back at 5:59. Is he back? Did you get any emails or phone calls?
No phone calls, but a couple of emails from earlier. I'll read them to you. The first one is from Nadine Reeves. It reads, I was surprised to learn that this was on the agenda for tonight, only noticing it on your poster outside of the town hall. I moved here 3 years ago, and the only safe off-leash parks nearby are Duncan or Honeymoon Bay. I think a good spot for a fenced off-leash park would be at one of the vacant schools or somewhere near the arena. As a layperson, I certainly don't know what spots are available, and I do think this should be put to a town vote. Thank you for your time. The next one is from Donna Rupley. It reads, "Good evening, council. This is regards to having dog parks in Lake Cowichan. The area of property across the street from the notary's office looks like a perfect location for a dog park. Fenced in some benches, garbage can and bags supplied would be beneficial for both residents and visitors. There's visible parking, and I think that land can never be developed, but I could be wrong. Making a runway for dogs to interact and have physical activity, plus I think it would be very visible for local dog owners, and especially seniors who would like to have their dogs have social engagement plus exercise. Please keep this area in mind if it is possible."
And that's where we're going to be putting the bus shelter. So part of that will be taken up, right? How come I have feedback? Is that correct?
Yeah, and it's more than that. It's in a riparian area, so I don't think you could put a dog park there.
Riparian, because
Yeah.
of the creek.
There
Yeah,
are two creeks
okay.
there.
Yeah, one on each side, so. Okay, it's good to hear where people think things should go. Okay, anybody else want to say anything else about that? Okay, I guess not. So we'll look for number 11, adjournment of the Parks meeting. Councilor McGonigal and Mayor Day, all those in favor? And we're out, over and out. Thank you.